Ever felt like love is like being strapped in a roller coaster that only goes down? You're not alone, my friend. We've all been there, smitten only to be bitten hard by the love bug. It's no walk in the park, is it? One moment you're cruising, the next you're remembering birthdays, anniversaries, even the mundane Tuesdays become significant because it's the day you first held hands. But what happens? None of these memories matter to the other person, and the joy of buying gifts, diamonds, dinners, all for what? A smile that might not even grace their face, while your heart's singing the blues in the corner. Then there's the rom-com marathon. You're sitting there, anticipating every unrealistic expectation of The Notebook, while your favorite football game's collecting dust on the DVR. But here's reality. You're not just watching, you're setting yourself up for disappointment because life doesn't mirror movies. If you're nodding your head right now, you're a sucker for love, but let me tell you, it always doesn't pay. Do you hear the murmurs in the darkness? The ones that speak of love, they say love is blind, but they ignored the tragic part. It also leaves you empty. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not painting love as a complete nightmare. But let's delve into the harsh reality of unrequited love. The one where you're falling through stormy clouds, seeing ephemeral shadows in the pitch-black void. The one where you're so deceived, foolishly open your heart just to bear a temporary smile on their face. Let's tread into the barren desert that is dating. Oh, the dates. You thought a casual flick at the cinema or a simple meal would suffice, correct? Yes, when you're entangled in the trap of unrequited feelings, you're loosening every restraint, venturing to hip bistros where the bill resonates with your despair. And let's tackle the cursed gifts. Spot an alluring necklace thinking she'd be enchanted by this. The next moment you realize you're throwing money down the drain, all for a fleeting charm. You're resigned to a diet of bland instant noodles for weeks, all because of a shimmering piece of deception. Then there's the Day of Hearts, a day probably invented by a romantic looking to commercialize love. Suddenly, every rose in the bustling city costs an arm and a leg. You yearn to make an impact, so you throw caution to the wind. Fancy dinner, heartfelt gifts, you've summoned them all. And before you know it, your bank statements are screaming with loss. Anniversaries, the same tragic, you're caught in an endless cycle of expenditure, all in the name of unrequited love. You're spending money on unforgettable trips, romantic surprises, while your savings in sorrow. But let me murmur a truth, gentlemen. Love isn't about the weight of gold, it's about the shared moments, the echoes of laughter, the invisible string that connects. So, the next time you're on the verge of squandering a fortune on a necklace, remember, love isn't nothing but a cruel specter draining your life. Love's not just a heartwarmer, it's a time thief too. Now, I'm not talking about the sweet, syrupy Hallmark card kind of love. I mean the all-consuming, sleep-depriving, check your phone every 5 seconds kind of love. The kind that crashes into you like a thunderstorm in the heart of Times Square. You see, love's got this cunning way of stealing your minutes, hours, even days without you even noticing. 1 minute you're snapping a quick good morning text. The next thing you know, it's midnight, and you're stuck in an endless conversation about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But that's a debate for another day. And let's not even get started on those agonizingly long, torturous dates. You know the ones, where you sign up for a quick coffee and it morphs into a never-ending session of sharing your deepest, darkest secrets and arguing over the merits of Star Wars versus Star Trek. You look up, and lo and behold, there goes your whole Saturday. The time thief strikes again. And the funny part is we let it happen. We hand over our time like it's a burden. Why? Because love's got us hypnotized. It's like that street magician in Central Park. You know you're being conned, but you can't help but watch. But remember, fellas, time is the one thing you can't get back, so before you get bogged down in endless texting, never-ending dates, and heated debates about fictional galaxies, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this love worth my time? Or am I just a victim of the time now? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying love ain't tempting. Sometimes it's the most alluring trap that you can fall into. But other times, it's like getting stuck in traffic on the FDR during rush hour. You're not moving forward, you're just wasting time. So if you're wondering where your day went, check your messages, love probably stole it. So fellas, we've laughed, we've cried, we've seen how love can take us on a wild, emotional roller coaster. Let's take a moment to rewind the tape and revisit some of the illusory moments we've endured. We started off in the bitter pill of romance, where everything appears sweet from afar, but leaves a sour taste. We soon realized it's not an oasis, but a mirage in the desert of loneliness. Like that time when you thought your girl was different because she liked anchovies on her pizza, only to realize she was just another fish in the sea with an unusual preference for pizza toppings. Then, we plunged into the emotional turmoil, the highs and lows, the loops and turns. You thought you signed up for a joyride, and you got a draining emotional roller coaster. Remember the confusion when she's mad at you and you have no idea why? Or when she's happy and you're left puzzled? Yeah, love can be as exhausting as trying to decipher the meaning of a painting. Next, we spoke of the time thief, love, the sly robber that steals away your precious hours. Reflect on the endless evenings you spent watching her favorite reality TV shows, knowing there were 1,000 things you'd rather be doing, or the hours wasted shopping for the perfect anniversary gift, only for it to be met with a lukewarm response. Love, in its crafty ways, can turn your leisure time into a full-time job. But remember, we're not here to glorify love. It's a journey, and not always a pleasant one. It's the bitter pill you swallow, the bass drop in your song, the black coffee you sip. It may not be a walk in the park, but it sure does make life more stirring. So fellas, got any bittersweet love stories of your own? Share them in the comments. Let's turn this into a therapy session. Let's hear about the time you tried to cook her favorite meal and it turned out to be disaster, or the time you planned a surprise party only for her to show up early and spoil the surprise. And remember, we're all in this together. As the saying goes, misery loves company. So let's share a laugh or a tear and navigate this thing called love, one bitter pill at a time. Remember, if this emotional roller coaster resonates with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out our other videos. Love might not give, but your support sure does.